India and China have several border conflicts over the past few decades. There have been tensions between the two because of disputes over the precise delineation of their long shared border, particularly in the regions of Aksai Chin and Arunachal Pradesh. An all-out conflict, however, may seem unlikely, but never impossible. If one does go out, who would win in the end? At first glance, it is easy to see how China would best out India. China is an economy that far surpassed India. As of 2023, the International Monetary Fund shows that the gross domestic product of China stands at over 17.66 trillion US dollars. This makes India look like a small economy, as it only has $3.57 trillion. Now, a country's economy does not always equate to military prominence. However, they are an important indicator because they provide the resources necessary to sustain a large and technologically advanced military. For instance, China, which has a lot of money, can heavily invest in its military capabilities. It does not have to invest too much money into its infrastructure development, human capital, or healthcare services. These are necessary for them, but they are not as necessary for India. India still has to prioritize its infrastructures and other means to grow its economy. This leaves out only a little money invested into its military. Let's take a look at how much money they spend on their military. According to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, published for the year 2022 in constant US dollars, the military spending of China stands at $309 billion, making them the second largest spender globally. They are just behind the United States, which has a budget of over $880 billion. India, unfortunately, is far less. The South Asian economy was only able to spend $83.3 billion. Although India's military spending is less, it actually spends more on its military than China in share of government spending. For 2023, India's military spending as a share of government spending is actually 8.1%. China, on the other hand, is just 5%, which means that India prioritizes its military more in terms of government allocation compared to China, even though the absolute figures are lower. Despite that, it is still clear to see how strong China's military is. But figures like these don't show the entire story, right? Well, let's take a look at the most important facets behind a country's military, which are actually its equipment. Equipment ranging from fighter jets to submarines are the face of a country's military, not their spending. India's military spending might be less, but that's also because the country does not require a lot of money to employ people. It needs less money to construct fighter jets, to salaries for its soldiers, and even to maintain its military infrastructure. This is partly due to lower labor costs in India compared to China, which allows India to stretch its defense budget further in some cases. However, when it comes to the quality and technological advancement of military equipment, China has made significant strides that give it a notable edge over India. Well, let's see this from their actual equipment. Let's first start with the Air Force, the most effective and lethal equipment that will play a role in the case of an all-out war. India's Air Force still deploys a wide range of foreign-purchased equipment. These are unlike China, which produces its own fighter jets. India operates the Dassault Rafale, a multi-role fighter jet. They hold two variants, both for its Air Force and Navy. Currently, including the Navy, they have about 62 Rafale fighter jets. These Rafale fighter jets currently make up the face of India's fighter jet capabilities. But just how strong are these jets? And how do they compare to China's own fighter jets? Well, these Rafale fighter jets are famous for being a true multi-role aircraft, capable of performing a wide range of missions including air-to-air combat, air-to-ground strikes, and reconnaissance. It has state-of-the-art cutting-edge sensors, radars, and cameras. It carries a wide range of weaponries, including the Meteor missile for air-to-air combat and the AASM for air-to-ground missions. It has a maximum speed of Mach 1.8 and a range of over 3,700 kilometers with external fuel tanks. Comparatively, China's own fighter jets may also match these Rafales. China's most advanced fighter jet is the J-20 fighter jet. There are approximately around 200 to 230 of these, which far surpasses that of India's. It is also China's first fifth-generation fighter jet, which was introduced in 2017. It is widely believed to compare against the F-22 and Su-57. Unfortunately, the specifics of these are classified, but there are several articles out there that say these are the second best fighter jets in the entire world, just behind the Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II. The Dassault Rafale, however, isn't the second best, but it is in the top 10. In total size, according to the Global Firepower, China's Air Force has about 3,304 aircrafts. 1,207 of these are fighters, and they are not just the J-20, but a long list of other fighters, such as the Chengdu J-7, Shenyang J-11, and so on. India, on the other hand, also has a high number of aircrafts. They have over 2,296 aircraft in total, 606 of which are fighters. Unfortunately, while a number of Indian aircrafts are new and advanced, most of them are still lagging behind China. What may change India's Air Force strength, however, is the upcoming HAL AMCA 5th generation stealth multi-role combat aircraft. But for now, that is still in the works and may still take a while to mass produce. Let's now take a look at their navy. India's most important naval assets are its warships, submarines, and aircraft carriers. These three make up the naval defense for India. For the country's submarines, they deploy the Arahant class, Kalvari class, Sindhu Ghosh class, and the Shishuma class. Out of these, the Arahant class is the strongest. These are nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines that are developed under the $11 billion Advanced Technology Vessel project. In total, they have about 294 total assets in its naval force. 18 of these are submarines. Then they also have 2 aircraft carriers. These aircraft carriers are the well-known Vikrant class and the Kiev class. For its warships, they have 12 destroyers, 12 frigates, and 18 corvettes. Their destroyers range from the Visakhapatnam class, then to the Shivalik class frigates and the Kamorta class corvettes. Comparatively to China, however, India's naval force is quite small. China has over 730 total naval assets. They have 3 aircraft carriers, with the latest one launched only recently. The so-called Fujian outclasses India's own aircraft carrier by miles. It has a full load displacement of more than 80,000 tons, which is nearly double than that of India's Vikrant class. They also have 61 submarines, which is again far more than India's 18. One of their submarines is known as the Jin class. There are at least 6 of these, each armed with 12 missile tubes capable of launching JL-2 submarine-launched ballistic missiles, with a range of up to 7,200 kilometers. Then, China also has a large number of warships. They possess 49 destroyers, 42 frigates, and 72 corvettes. Their warships range from the Type O-55 destroyer to the Type O-54A frigate and the Type O-56 corvette. Finally, the last is the Army. These are the land forces. However, in the 21st century battle, they aren't as strong as a country's Navy and Air Force. India's land forces are less than that of China and also possess weaker equipment. They have 4,614 tanks, over 151,248 vehicles, and a few thousand artillery pieces. China, on the other hand, has over 5,000 tanks, 174,300 vehicles, and roughly around 8,000 artillery. Now, one of the most important pieces of a country's military are the missiles. One of India's most advanced and lethal missiles is the Agni-5. The Agni-5 is an ICBM with a range of over 5,000 kilometers. First tested in 2012, it has undergone multiple tests since. The Agni-5 is launched from a sealed canister on a road mobile launcher, significantly reducing launch preparation time. China, on the other hand, has the FN-6. These are YJ-21. These missiles are capable of reaching speeds up to Mach 10, with a range of approximately 930 miles, or 1,500 kilometers. While its range is small, it is capable of striking down even American aircraft carriers, according to China. So the question is, can India's military take on China? Well, for now, it is likely that they will not win a war, especially if missiles are involved. Nevertheless, while they currently can't, that doesn't mean they won't in the future. These will change as India continues to develop its own local manufacturing plans. But anyway, do let us know what you think. Thanks for watching.